Now, as I was learning about all these different ways of recognizing the new year, it actually reminded me of the first time I encountered something that was an unusual way of celebrating the new year, at least compared to how we do it in the United States. And it reminded me of the story from 23 years ago, in the year 2002. And it involves a country that some of you may not have heard of, but in either way, this story involves having to look backwards at the old year before you can look forwards. If you get on a plane and you fly about 3,000 miles to the west, you're going to land somewhere probably in California. But if you fly the same distance directly south, you'll run smack into one of the most beautiful countries you'll ever see, Ecuador. Now, when you ask someone a country that they would like to visit, Ecuador usually isn't the first pick. Most people would probably want to visit Paris, France with the Eiffel Tower, or perhaps Rome with the Colosseum. It's looking kind of rough there. Or maybe even the Sydney Opera House in Australia, which always kind of reminded me of a porcupine. But while Ecuador doesn't have a beautiful opera house or a old Colosseum, it does have a whole lot of lakes and mountains, as well as some pretty cool cities of its own. Quito, the capital of the entire country, is a pretty good mix of what you would think of as an old city and a new city. And once you get outside the city, things get even better. There are absolutely amazing mountains there, and alpacas. Lots of alpacas. So when I had the chance to go to Ecuador in the winter of 2002, 23 years ago, I couldn't be more excited. And it was pretty much everything that I imagined. We saw this amazing countryside, mountains, the city, and this really cool horse. And before you knew it, it was time for us to go home. And as it turned out, our flight home was on New Year's Day, which is where things start to get interesting. Now, fireworks are one of the most common things that we see on New Year's around the world. From Sydney to Paris to the United States, you'll usually see them. But Ecuador just decided to stop with the fire. So you're probably wondering, what exactly do they do that involves fire but not fireworks? Well, I'll tell you after this.